Hey, welcome to Hot Ones, the show with hot questions and even hotter wings. I'm your host, Colin Jost, and this is Weekend Update. No, but seriously, this is Sally Lightfoot. It's 3 o'clock in the a.m., and you're watching Perspectives. All right. Today we have our guest, Jeff Wysocki.
Hello.
So Jeff, how are you with spicy foods?
I'm okay. I'm afraid to say that I have a decent tolerance because we're about to go above that, but I eat pretty spicy on a generally regular basis.
All right, spicy guy. All right, first question. Okay, let me tell you about the sauces first. We've got the Marie Sharp collection here. They're out of Belize. I think maybe we may have had something from her product line before.
Yeah, when we were in Belize.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, not that we know each other, but...
Yeah, right. And also, as a guest, I just happen to know that they're carrot-based instead of tomato-based, which is kind of interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I know a lot about hot sauce.
Well, we'll see how much you know when it comes to the test right now. All right, so the first one we're going to start with is this one. It's the classic habanero pepper sauce. Shouldn't be too bad. We'll just go ahead and dive right in.
All right, here we go.
Pretty good? Hanging in there?
Yep. Pretty mild. It's a mild one.
All right.
No problem.
First question. Do you remember when you did the tiny bag for Lizzo?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a crazy project. So, yeah, every once in a while, for obvious plant, a brand will message me and be like, hey, we want you to make some crazy, dumb thing. And that was from Valentina. What was it?
Valentino.
Valentino. I don't even know the name of the brand. Anyway, it's a gigantic luxury brand. Which is interesting because luxury brands don't seem like they would naturally fit with what I do. But
yeah,
they're like, hey, we want to make something weird packaged product-wise, and we kind of like pitched around different ideas, and I came up with like a tiny purse. And so I made like 5 or 6 tiny purses, sent them to Italy, I think, and had no idea what they were going to do with it. They were just like, we want a few of these, blah, blah, blah. And then like months later,
next thing you know,
Lizzo is one of the receivers of one of these, and she is at an award show carrying it around, and it becomes like the meme of the month, really. And then all of a sudden I get all these people like, hey, I want a Lizzo bag too, make one for me. And it was like a very big response, way more than I expected. And yeah, I'm happy Lizzo loved it. And that thing was never meant to be opened, the package, but she was carrying it around. I was like, it's gonna break, but maybe they reinforced it, I don't know, but yeah, that defined her for the year for sure, so that was fun.
Yeah, good team on that one. This is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our second sauce we got here is the famous Marie Sharp's hot habanero pepper sauce.
Okay, so it's the same thing, but a little hotter.
Right.
Sounds like.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Would you say it's like a little hotter?
Hasn't hit me yet. Maybe it's about the same.
Okay, so do you remember one time when you were contacted by Fresh Air and did an interview with Terry Gross?
Yeah, I did. I do remember that. That was early Obvious Plant, really. It was back when I was still doing signs and stuff, more than like products. So I remember it was like it was right before Thanksgiving, and I had just done a Target. I mocked up these fake Target store flyers. You know how they do like the the in-store circular, and they place it in front of the store. So like when you walk in, you can be like, oh, these are the sales that are going on today. I'm gonna go buy toilet paper 2 for $5 or whatever. So I made some fake pages, put them in there, like holiday shopping, Black Friday deals. I remember one of them was like a literal falcon, like you could buy a falcon bird.
You could literally buy that?
That's what that. that's yeah, you know, it's a crazy thing you could buy at Target that day. Anyway, I posted them on pictures online as usual, and it kind of, I think it got to the front page of Reddit or something, which is how NPR found me, and they interviewed me about my crazy projects that I do in terms of like putting fake stuff in fake stores and making people laugh in the yuck yucks.
Great. Okay.
Shouldn't you be doing these also?
No.
As the host, as the Sean Hayes.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
So, our next one is Marie Sharp's. Again, the famous Marie Sharp, proud product of Belize, nopal green habanero sauce. So this one's a green one. It's cactus. It's a pepper sauce.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
It does sound good.
Yeah, looking nice. Looking nice.
Is this one?
That's tasty. I like that. I'm not sure it's any spicier than the previous one, but
Oh, well,
it's delicious.
we got another hot question for you, even if the wings are not so hot.
Hit me with it.
Do you remember working for Radio Shack Corporation? All of my shows are all my questions are do you remember?
Great. Yeah. First job out of college. In college, I had done an internship for Premier Radio Networks, doing marketing stuff. That's what I went to school for, marketing.
Mm.
And really the only part of that job I liked was writing. So I had to do like one sheets for different radio personalities. And then I got to one of the big events at the end of my internship was a corporate event, and I got to write fake jokes and questions and trivia for a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type show that they were going to do with like the CEO on stage, blah blah blah. Basically, I got to write joke answers, you know, that mixed in with the real answers, and that's really the start of everything that I've done for my entire actual career, because yeah, that was the one part of the job I liked. I was like, oh, I like writing jokes. But so I wanted to be a copywriter. So oh, I'll be a copywriter, I'll do advertising, make funny things. And so after school, I ended up getting a copywriter internship at Radio Shack Corporation in Fort Worth, Texas, downtown Fort Worth. They eventually hired me on full time, and I did like web writing. So basically I was writing product descriptions for batteries, which was really technical and boring, and
you don't have to worry about hurting their feelings. I don't think
they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Nothing is real.
And by the way, they fired me via email, so like they did a whole mass layoff, and I was one of the heads to roll, and they just sent out a mass email, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, you're all gone, blah blah blah." I was like, I don't care, because the whole time I was there, I only worked like 1 or 2 hours a day. I had all this extra time. I spent the time writing joke stuff, you know, working on my own private, like, I want to be funny for a living. I'm going to write Onion type articles. And then I also wrote like freelance type articles, so I was making extra money on the side. By the time they let me go, I had enough to do like freelance writing stuff.
So what you're telling me is people at corporations have too much time on their hands, and they end up doing other things because there's not enough time.
Yeah.
This is shocking. Anyway, this is a much better question or answer, I thought, that I would get to my question, because when I was asking the question, I thought for sure, this is all I remember from those Radio Shack days, was that the office was really cold. Like really cold, and they really loved their air conditioning. Wow. And you would have to like you know, work, but you'd have to like put one hand under your butt because it had to get warm.
How do you know this? Wow, you do your homework. Wow, this is an amazing interview. You're an amazing interviewer.
So when your hand would get cold like that, what did you?
Yeah, that's
what
true.
Did you call
that's true. Like it was like it was Texas. You know, the middle of summer, 110 degrees outside, and it was freezing in the office, freezing. And I had, you know, I had a sweater on and coat and whatever I could do so I would stay warm. But my hands were for typing, you know. My hands are for typing.
Right.
That's the whole point of my job, to type.
Right.
And so they're out and they're literally freezing. So I'd have to switch hands, like you said. I don't know who you asked, how you found out this information, but I sat on my hands. But I called it mouse hand because my mouse hand, I needed this hand for the mouse, so it was out more and it was cold more.
And you called it
mouse hand.
Mouse hand.
Mouse hand.
Okay. Number 4. What do we have here? Reese Sharp's orange pulp habanero pepper sauce. Oh, this one should be different. I mean, it says hot. Maybe we'll start to get a little increase in heat here. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
Do you want to put a little more on? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean,
throw some more on
maybe
there.
Just a little. And then I'll ask a hot question.
All right. Yeah, everything should be getting hotter. The mid dab.
Yeah.
The rarely seen mid dab.
So, is it getting hotter?
My nose is starting to go a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember when you had? Do you remember that? Do you remember that time when you had the museum and someone started a small fire in the museum? Do you remember that?
Wait, Chris Farley interviewing me?
Do you remember?
You remember when you wrote?
I'm calling just.
You remember? Right.
It's 3:00 in the AM. You're watching Perspectives. Only SNL references from here on out.
Do you remember? Do you remember when you wrote "Hey Jude"?
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
But do you remember that?
The museum.
Yes.
Yes, huge, a huge undertaking. A huge undertaking. I was like, I think that was 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now.
Who knows? Pandemic time. We don't know.
Yeah. So I'd been making toys at this point for a while, just putting them online, making one, selling it, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, what's the next iteration of, like, people always say, oh, I want to find your thing in a store. That'd be so cool to be like, oh, there's an obvious plant. So I was like, oh, well, what if I made a fake store? Well, I'd have to make 1 million products to fill the store with. But what if I made a museum of toys filled with fake toys that I made? Then I only had to make one of each thing, right?
Yeah.
So that was the idea, and I had a great team. Some people you may know, very close to you, helped me out and did like some event planning. We found a spot in Los Angeles, rented it out, set up this entire fake museum of like starting from the first toy in history, which was a stick, going down the line in the years, and like reaching like the 70s and 80s and showing more from that era because that's the era I like the most because it was my era. Mm-hmm. And it had weird things.
You're
like
old. I'm sorry.
Okay, wow, that's the biggest burn I felt so far. Wow.
Just kidding. Age is irrelevant, and use that what you feel. And I just wanted to, I just wanted to burn it out. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. So there was lots of toys there.
Lots of toys there. I had a wall of things to sell. I had some fake signage up. It was a lot of fun. It went really well. It was only like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weekends. I had a good turnout, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great like meeting fans, actually seeing people like laughing, hearing people laughing, which is something, you know, as an online creator.
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't hear the yuck yucks. It's like, do people like this? I guess. I don't know. So it was nice hearing the laughs, seeing the range of people that came in, everyone from kids to, you know, elderly people, all coming in and laughing, which is great because I always think I do this really weird comedy that a lot of people don't get, but it seems to be more universal than I think. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
I do remember that.
I'm gonna check this and make sure it's still filming. It is.
Great.
Because that would have been sad if we would have lost all this comedy gold.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Yeah,
We had no rehearsals. You don't know the questions. They're just hot questions.
That's how the
coming
show
at
goes.
you.
I
Yeah.
show up, my publicist drops me off here, and I go inside.
Right. I don't think we actually got to the part in the story though where there was a small fire at the museum.
Wow. How do you know this? That wasn't in the news anywhere.
No.
Okay, yeah. It was like we were winding down. It was like towards the end of the event, like the third week or end of the second week or whatever. And one of the toys in there was the WWE face melter. And so the premise was you take your WWE action figures and you put them in this oven for the, whoever the loser was goes in the oven of the wrestling match, goes in the oven, and you melt their face off. And it was a like a rotisserie chicken machine that I'd restickered to look like a face melter toy, blah blah blah. Anyway, so I had rigged it so the inside thing would spin, but the heat wasn't on, so it looked like it was heating, but it wasn't. Some jokester, some yuckster, some guy, gal, not sure who, decided to turn the heat on.
Yeah.
And walk away. So I'm standing at the register, like, hanging out, looking at my phone, selling things, and I smell smoke. I'm like, what's that? And I look around, and I don't see anything. And then, like, a minute later, the smoke gets worse, and I have to look around because my vision's obscured from what's going on. There's plastic action figures in this oven, like, actually melting. Their faces are melting, their whole bodies are melting, and like plastic noxious fumes are coming off in a room full of people that are here to see the event. And I'm like, so I run over there, like unplug it, take it out back, throw it in the alley so it can like cool off and defume. And and it smelled like plastic for like the next hour or two. We had to open the doors. No one seemed too alarmed, to be honest. Like no one left. They were like, "Oh, this is part of his gag. Probably he's a jokester. It's a prank."
The boy who cried wolf over here.
Yeah, and then after it cooled down, we put it back in on display with like the actual melted figures, which kind of worked even better. So. Yeah.
Well, I was in the back, so I have an alibi. There were people who saw me there, so right. I just want you to know that.
Sure.
All right.
Whew. Nose is going a little bit. I feel a little tingle on my lips.
Shing.
Shing.
All right.
Ready for this next one?
This next one. Marie Sharp's. This is the habanero pepper sauce. Probably similar to some that you had. But this one is fiery hot. It's not hot, it's fiery hot, it says.
And I just want to point out, this is where I'm starting to get scared, especially because whoever prepared these for me, I don't know who that might be.
I mean, someone on the team, obviously.
Doused this one. It's like look at the surface area on this, and then she's like, "Oops, I accidentally." But, so yeah, this is where I'm starting to get scared. I think it's going to start becoming more difficult. But here we go.
Bottoms up. Alright, we've reached a part of the show where typically we do a deep dive on the Insta. Does that sound okay to you? We're going to ask questions about a picture on your Instagram and try to get more context.
Sure.
Are you into that?
Yeah.
Okay, we got... I don't know if you guys can see this at home. So we've got like, oh gosh, a cord. Oh! Alright, so we got this frog. And he's like hanging out. And he seems to be a butler of some kind. Alright.
Yeah, butler frog?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Go ahead.
Me too. Yeah, that one's hotter. That one's hotter. That one's definitely hotter. But manageable. Still manageable. Whew. Okay, yeah, this frog. This frog is in my neighborhood. About a year ago, I moved with my wife.
Who's that? Oh, never mind. I don't know her.
I moved with my wife from Los Angeles to a smaller beach town just outside of Los Angeles. And let me tell you, this neighborhood has a personality. It's got some quirky people in there, and they love, sorry, it's hitting me a little bit. Ooh, yeah, getting hot. Whew. Yeah, my neighbors, a lot of them have an interesting decoration style, very eclectic decoration style. And I go on a lot of walks in the neighborhood in the morning, brainstorm, start the day with some exercise because I'm sitting all day.
Sounds nice.
And there's all these crazy things in our neighborhood, like this frog for one. Someone has like, I don't know, it's like a stucco handmade alligator that they put on the roof of their house. There's what else is there? Oh, let's go through this so I can.
Yeah, let's do a deep dive on your Insta. Okay, so we got
There's that alligator. There's this like.
He looks like a coach.
Yeah, it's like some found art. Very hippie.
Muffler man.
Muffler man. Anyway, yeah, there's other stuff in there too. It's
Let's see who else we got. We got an angel.
Oh yeah, an angel in a window.
Oh, that's a really nice mailbox. That's like a choice.
Yeah, lots of beach themed stuff too, because we're by the beach. And so it's like a lot of older homes. We like the neighborhood because it's a big eclectic mix of like old houses from the 1950s that haven't been updated since the 1950s, and then like newer houses. So it's a nice mix of people, anywhere from like blue collar to more better off
financially.
Right. Yeah, that's it for that.
All right.
Yeah, it's hot now. I feel it. The hot ones are hitting.
So this one, Marie Sharp's Beware. This one has a warning on it. It says comatose heat level. I don't know if you saw that earlier.
No, I didn't.
This is the one that I thought was going to be the hottest, but I was told that this one's actually hotter. So
we will see.
We will see. This one's like pretty red.
Yeah.
Is,
okay, here we go. Here we go. I think it's going to be a slow burn. Didn't hit me right away.
Okay, then do you remember this one time when you went to the grocery store and you thought you were buying a bell pepper and you made a salad and you cut it up and put it on the salad and then it turned out to be an habanero.
I can tell a story. Yeah, sure. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I made a nice salad. We were eating lots of different. It was the era of kale, so I'm pretty sure it was a kale salad back when kale was super hot. I bought an orange pepper. I thought it was a bell pepper. Cut it up. I don't put a lot in there, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, started eating my lunch. So like, wait a second. This is really hot. I don't think that was a bell pepper. It was habanero. I'm pretty sure it was habanero, although I remember it being bigger like a bell pepper, so I don't know. But it was ridiculously hot, and I ate several bites before I realized what was happening. And so I start like laughing and crying at the same time. I'm like kind of walking around the house briskly trying to get away from the heat, you know, like it's following me around. and pull out like a milk jug and start drinking straight from the coconut milk gallon. And I'm starting to feel a little bit like that right now. Time's getting hotter.
This is coconut milk. This isn't gonna help you, but you can go ahead and do it if it makes you.
No, I don't think I need the milk yet. At least.
I mean, probably won't help.
Yeah.
It'll be cool, at least.
Yeah, Ellen's. This is hot. This is hot. This is hot. This is taking me back to what exactly you're talking about right now. But I ended up on the floor, laughing and crying at the same time. While you filmed me and laughed, which I guess it was a great spectacle for you.
That's what it was. A follow-up question. Do you remember when your wife just pretty much gave you a milk jug and laughed at you the whole time?
Yeah, I do. I remember that.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Here we go. Yeah.
This is
my pain is your entertainment.
Everyone thinks this is great.
Mm-hmm.
I at least tried to help you out.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
Okay.
I'm honestly thankful that you didn't have any with me, because you would have died probably. This interview would not be happening because you'd be no longer with us.
Okay, this is the last dab. We traditionally call it the last dab because it's the last dab that we last dabs.
What are you doing?
This is the last dab, and we call it the last dab. So if you want to, it's tradition around here to just put a little extra on the last dab because it's last dab.
Yeah, I'll do it. I feel like I'm managing okay. I feel, I think, don't they do 10 in the?
Yeah, this is 7.
This is 7, so I feel a little like things are just starting to.
I mean, we didn't have that one. What's the one that everybody?
Da bomb.
Da bomb.
Yeah, Da bomb's not here.
We don't have Da bomb.
Okay, yeah, maybe I should probably over dab that. Oh, okay.
You haven't even busted in the milk. I'd say you're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Go, 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 go. Do you remember when you were a famous YouTube star called Pleated Jeans and Google happened, you were getting all the money for your entire business through Google AdSense?
Yeah, I remember that.
Can you tell us what happened there?
Yeah, so, oh wow. That's some Belizean heat right there.
Belizean heat.
Whoo! Whoo! Oh, I'm starting to feel like kind of those endorphins going. Yeah, getting little tracers going on. What a gauntlet. Yeah, so for some people who don't know, before Obvious Plant, I had a website called pleatedjeans.com, and it was basically like a mini BuzzFeed, but only for humor. And I would make webcomics and my own memes, and it was basically a proto version of Obvious Plant, but with extra funny stuff from around the internet.
No Friends quizzes, though.
No quizzes, no quizzes. And one of the things I did for a while was videos, humorous videos, and so yeah, I was making money through advertising on both the website and YouTube, both through Google because Google owns YouTube, and that was my whole income essentially, advertising income. And then one day I had this crazy a post go viral on Facebook. It got like thousands of shares on Facebook, lots of click-throughs, basically I ended up getting like double the amount of page views in a single day than I had ever had before. I was like, all right, that was great. What a success. I got this extra ad revenue. I got some new followers. Some people found me, blah, blah, blah. A few days later, I get a message from Google saying my AdSense account has been closed due to fraudulent activity. What? I got lucky with a viral thing. And that's all they told me. I was like, well, it had to have been this extra traffic. They must have thought I paid for it or bought it or whatever. And all of a sudden, my revenue stream is gone because I can't run ads on my website or my YouTube. Ooh, let's take a moment, regroup.
That's not what the people pay to see.
Yeah. So I tried to appeal with AdSense, but there's literally like hardly an appeal process. You can't talk to anyone.
Yeah, you were accused by a robot.
I was accused by a robot. I couldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't explain myself. Basically, I had to guess why I was banned and like create this whole like formula based on like the very little data I had that suggested that this was actually real traffic and not fake. Didn't matter. Spent like weeks working on this thing. Didn't matter. They never even got back to me. So basically, my career, my entire livelihood was over. I ended up finding a different ad company that was enough to sustain me for a while. But I was like, I can't ever do this again. I can't ever have like some other company in charge of like how much money I make. Like they can just cut you off. And this has happened to other web owners I know. You know, even on Instagram right now, people can just have their accounts banned, and then what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So I've positioned myself to be more, nimble and unencumbered by the powers that be above the platforms.
The robots in charge.
Yeah. It basically led me to figure out how to sell my own products rather than have advertising. And another impetus for the eventual rise of Obvious Plant.
Wow. Well, cheers to you, my friend. You made it all the way through the gauntlet. This is a pretty good job. This camera, this camera, this camera. Tell the people what you got going on.
I have a nice weekend planned of just hanging out, riding out the pandemic, almost over, ready to start and get back in the real world. And, Obvious Plant on all the platforms. Got lots of fun stuff coming out, bigger projects, smaller projects. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to me.